Hello, dear audience. Today we will talk about the issue of which type of stove is more effective. So, cooking with natural gas emits pollutants that harm health and climate. Gas stoves burn methane, releasing nitrogen oxides, carbon dioxide, formaldehyde, and some unburned methane in the kitchen air. These byproducts irritate airways and worsen asthma, especially in children. In fact, studies find gas cooking contributes more than half of some Americans' indoor nitrogen dioxide exposure. So, gas cooktops also leak methane, and methane's global warming potential is 80 times higher than of carbon dioxide over 20 years. By contrast, electric stoves produce no combustion emissions indoors, so they do not directly add nitrogen dioxide or carbon dioxide to the air. However, electric cookers draw power from the grid, and if the electricity comes from fossil fuel power plants, CO2 emissions shift to the power sector. So, the core question is which cooking method yields lower overall emissions and better health outcomes?
And therefore, suggested solution is electrification. And the leading solution is to switch kitchens to electric stoves and especially induction cooktops. Induction stoves heat pots via magnetic fields and transferring most of the energy directly into the cookware. And they can be for about 84% of efficient and far higher than gas stoves that equals 40%. And because induction does not burn fuel on site, it emits no indoor pollutants such as nitrogen oxide or carbon monoxide. And many energy experts argue that as the grid becomes cleaner, electric cooking will have a much smaller carbon footprint. And for example, one analysis found that induction running on modern power plants is on modern power plants that is 60% efficient, still delivers about 48% net efficiency, and it's still higher than 40% of the gas stoves. And governments are already stimulating induction in US, and by doing discounts that reaches $840, they attract more people to buy electrical stoves. And in short, electrifying cooking is seen as the best way to cut climate and health impacts while still cooking very efficiently.
Now, let's talk about application of science in this solution. First of all, as you can see this reaction here, methane is burning or reacting with O2, and this gives us carbon dioxide and the water. And also it gives us some heat, specifically negative 890 kilojoules per mole. As you can see in this reaction is for gas stoves, and there's several flaws in it actually. For instance, first of all, sometimes methane does not burn and does not react, and in that case, methane just blows and stays in your house, which is harmful. Also, the harmful gas that could be floating in your house is nitrogen monoxide, which can be released from these gas stoves as well. These gases could really hurt our lungs, and these are not healthy for our body. This is why gas stoves are not really efficient. Their efficiency is equal to 40%, while electric stoves efficiency is equal to 70 to 75%. While, as Abylaikhan said, induction stoves efficiency starts from 80%, which is admirable and really much more than these both ovens efficiencies.
So now let's talk about the consequences. So we start with social factors. So let's talk about the positive sides. First of all, electric stoves do not produce indoor air pollutants like nitrogen dioxide or carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, so reducing respiratory problems like asthma, as we mentioned above, and especially for children and elderly people. So, and second is that it brings lower risk of gas leaks and explosions, and also it improves household safety and reduces stress for users. So, and the negative side of using the electric stove is that electric and induction stoves often require higher initial investment, and sometimes it causes economic problems because it requires electrical upgrades. So it limits access for poor households. And the second one is power outages make electric stoves unusable, which can be a serious issue in the regions with unstable electricity infrastructure.
Now let's talk about positive environmental consequences of this solution. First of all, electric stoves allow you to save energy because its efficiency is much higher than gas stoves efficiency. Secondly, using renewable sources like aquatic, like water, sun, or wind, can potentially decrease the amount of carbon that emits from the stoves. And moreover, these kind of electric stoves do not produce any gases, greenhouse gases, which are which means it cannot hurt our bodies and it cannot hurt ozone layer. So it's win and win.
And also there is negative consequences of environmental factor. The first negative consequences is that if electricity gets fuel from the coal or gas, then there is still be a pollution for the at the power plant level. And the second one is production of electric and induction stoves requires mining of metals and rare materials, increasing environmental degradation.
So, in conclusion, we can say that electric stoves are more efficient than gas stoves and it brings more sustainable development into the lives of many people. So, in the last slide, we can see our bibliography. So, yes, thank you for attention. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.